Hi, this is Asker. In this video, I want to talk to you about how you can improve your memorization techniques when you're making a presentation. It's a technique I discovered a while ago and I've started using the last couple of months when I'm out speaking, and it has really made a big difference. Because I used to be terrified that I couldn't remember my speech, that I would forget a lot of stuff. But with this technique, I am very certain that I can remember almost everything of my speech. It's an extremely powerful technique. It comes from the Romans, so it's more than 2,000 years old. And think about that. More than 2,000 years old, and it has passed generation after generation after generation. It's made its way up to Denmark. So it's a very powerful technique since it has survived these many years. And I want to show you how to apply it. The name of this technique is called Memory Palace. And the idea is that you walk around in your home. So you start somewhere in your home and then you basically walk around in your home to different key areas that will remind you of different things that you'll be talking about. And I'll actually give you a tour of my apartment. It's not a palace, although the technique is called Memory Palace. So I'm going to show you this technique, how it works, and give you a live example of how I used it. And I'll just say, ever since I started using it, it has really made me more calm, more confident on stage, because knowing that I can remember my stuff is just crucial. And think about that next time you have to present. What if you knew that you were 99.99% sure that you could remember everything, or at least all the major details? Would that make a difference to you or not? Anyway, go try it. It's very easy. I just went out speaking at a high school last week. And I also spoke at that high school last year. And so they invited me back. And the last year, I didn't know the technique. And I spent so much time practicing the speech so I could remember all the speech. But this time, I just needed 20 minutes to memorize it. And then another 2 times 5 minutes, 2 days. And that was it. And I knew it. So let's go at it. Are you ready? And I'm going to show you this technique. It's okay. Just hold on. So all right, I'm here with my tripod. So where I start is at this shelf. This is something I start with in my story. I start in my speech. I start with a story, and then I tell them that we're going to put it on the shelf because I'll then come back to it later. After that, I then have in here cups, and that reminds me of welcoming people. It's typical that you'll have a cup of coffee if you have some guests. So it's like a welcome signal that reminds me of that. Then I will walk over here, and this is a schedule. So I'll talk about what they'll be learning today. What is on the schedule? They'll be talking about passion, success. These are the topics. So that was an easy way for me to remember that. And then in the first section, I also look out at the window because I talk to them about reality. The reality is that most people don't love their job. Most people will have a job they don't love. And the window just reminds me of reality by looking out. So it's not important for you if this makes sense to you, but just remember that these are metaphors that for me represent something, and it makes it easier to remember. So the speech was not done, so I have a lot more. We're going to go through a couple of rooms more. All right. So this is the room where my daughter sleeps, and this is the mattress where I'll also be sleeping sometimes. And I'll often be reading books here with her, and when she's almost sleeping, I will then also read some books, maybe watch some YouTube videos and learn. So this reminded me of education. I'll talk about my own educational story, how I ended up educating myself, having chosen the wrong education, maybe the wrong job. Then I come over here, which is her bed. You can see that. That gives me the clue of a story that when I had my daughter, I had less time. I needed to focus more, and actually that was a strength for me to have less time. And also that I had to wake up early in the morning or middle of the night very often. So that can give you focus. The next thing I then talk about is actually the window, which is life is short. We don't have that much time to live. And it reminds me of a person jumping out the window, and obviously that's tragic and the person will die. But it just reminds me of a story that we only live once, and we gotta enjoy our time and go for our dreams. And then I will look, actually my daughter is sleeping now, so that's perfect when I'm making this video. Maybe you see the blue wagon down there somewhere, and that reminds me of the times when I walked around 4 in the morning with her, trying to make her fall asleep. And that gave me focus. Actually, it gave me time to think about my life, which is something we often don't do, at least I didn't, because we are so busy doing stuff. But walking around with her 4 in the night gave me clarity. I started thinking about my life, and it made me take decisions I wouldn't have taken otherwise. So this is the room, this room. Then I come back out here, which is the living room, and I talk about when I just started working. Let me see, I used to have at least a fancy coat here, which reminded me of my time as a consultant in the oil and gas business. Looking fancy, so I go into my story that I had about being a consultant. And then I talk about planning, how you should plan. So this calendar, I talk about planning, what techniques you should use, and not just think about a week ahead, 2 weeks, but actually you should make plans for 10, 15, 20 years to have the success you want. So this is the room again. Then I come over here, which is the television. And the television reminds me of the time I was doing a presentation at Bremen Theater in front of 1,000 people. And that somehow represents that, the television. A lot of people watch television, so it reminded me of a lot of people. And then it also reminds me of, afterwards I'll be talking about the mentor I had to teach me how to give these presentations. So I then see a TV host, which is a credible person, somebody that is skilled. So this is the room, the living room I used in this way. And the last room I then show you is that I come over here, and here I have some books. And as a favorite book, one of my very favorite books is this one. You can see this one. And then I'll be talking about some of the stuff I read in this book, some of my own stories. And lastly, I will be talking about my own level, or where I'm at, which is represented by this computer where I'm doing a lot of my work. So this represents a story of where I'm at now, and it doesn't have to lead to where you will end up being. So you can use this technique as well if you want to make a great presentation. Walk around in your home. Find things that make sense to you in your story. And what you can do is you can either have it on a piece of paper, you can put it on the floor, but you can also do like I did, which is, if you ever get in doubt, even though this technique is extremely strong, you can also write it in your hand. Actually, I had every single thing written on my hand. So whenever I was in doubt, I just looked at my hand and like, oh yeah, this is the next point. So this is an extremely powerful technique to remember your speech. It gave me a ton of confidence, calmness, and maybe it will do that to you as well. So this is the technique called Memory Palace. Please like the video, please share it, please comment. I would love to hear your comments. And I wish you a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.